Hello, hopeful drivers of tomorrow. How's everybody doing? Good, great, or maybe not so good if you're stressing out about your DMV test? Well, never fear. Permit Quiz Liz, that's me, is here. Please take a second to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because we have got a good one for you today. These are the top 20 DMV questions that are trending harder this year. What does that even mean? Well, think of it this way. These are the DMV questions that students are getting wrong more these past 12 months than ever before. Make sense? Good. Let's get started. Okay, DMV test study buddies, we'll jump right in with the 20th hardest question and go from there. So question number 20. Which statement is true about motorcyclists and motorists? A, motorcycles are heavier than other vehicles and are less affected by wind or rain. B, motorcyclists have the same rights or responsibilities as other motorists. Or C, motorcyclists are not allowed to drive faster than other traffic during congested road conditions. Correct answer is B, motorcyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as other motorists. While most get this right because they know that motorcyclists must play by the same driving rules as other motorists, about 10% get this wrong by choosing answer C. Motorcyclists are not allowed to drive faster than other traffic during congested road conditions. As you've probably seen for yourself, motorcyclists often drive between slow traffic on congested highways. So while it's not legal in all states, this lane sharing or lane splitting is lawful in California. If two vehicles can fit side by side in a single lane safely, then it's actually allowed. It's not just for motorcycles either. Consider the common situation on a busy road where you need to turn right, even if there's no dedicated right turn lane. Lane sharing actually allows you to turn right while another motorist can continue forward. Only if there is enough room, of course. So drivers can still be ticketed if they get too close. And with that in mind, lane splitting by motorcyclists is definitely not always safe, and many driving experts actually caution against it. As the DMV explains, riding between rows of stopped or moving vehicles in the same lane can leave you vulnerable. The takeaway? Motorcycles can legally drive faster than other traffic during road congestion, but we generally don't recommend it. Just remember that the correct answer is that motorcyclists do have the same rights and responsibilities as other vehicles. Getting harder, question number 19. You are driving 55 miles per hour in the far left or fast lane of a freeway posted for 65 miles per hour. You could be cited for driving too slowly. A, if the road or weather conditions warrant driving too slowly. B, if you block the normal and reasonable flow of traffic. Or C, under no circumstances, because it is always safe to drive slower than other traffic. The correct answer is B, if you block the normal and reasonable flow of traffic. Hard to believe, more people are getting this one wrong this year, but for some reason, more people than usual are choosing the incorrect answer A, if the road or weather conditions warrant driving too slowly. My guess is that people are not reading the answer very carefully. If road or weather conditions warrant driving slowly, like it's rush hour or raining or a giant herd of buffalo are stampeding across the road, then for sure you should slow down and drive under the speed limit. Answer B is correct because you can get a ticket for blocking the flow of traffic when you drive under the speed limit for no reason at all. And this is a good one to remember for your DMV drive test. You can actually fail your behind the wheel test if you needlessly drive 10 miles per hour or more below the speed limit. Bottom line, don't impede the flow of traffic when you don't need to. And if you do drive slower than most people, for the love of all things, please stay out of the leftmost or fast lanes. Trending harder question number 18. You may legally drive in any freeway carpool lane if A, you carry the minimum number of persons shown on the sign, B, all of the other lanes are stopped with heavy traffic, or C, it is between the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. The correct answer is A, you carry the minimum number of persons shown in the sign. A carpool lane or diamond lane or HOV lane, HOV standing for high occupancy vehicle, is a special freeway lane only for motorcycles, buses, and or carpools. There will be a sign at the on-ramp or along the road to tell you the minimum number of people required to be in a carpool lane. If the carpool lane has restrictions during certain hours, that will also be listed on a sign. Now, while this question is pretty easy to get right, hundreds of students this year choose the wrong answer, B, all the other lanes are stopped with heavy traffic. Now, while it is tempting to use the carpool lane when all of the normal lanes are stopped with bumper-to-bumper traffic, please do not do that. Not only is this an illegal lane violation with a minimum of a $490 ticket, but it's also really dangerous to move into a free-flowing lane of traffic from a lane of stopped traffic. You're just inviting a bad traffic collision. This next one, question number 17, is missed by 1 out of every 7 students. To make a right turn onto a two-way street from a two-way street, start in the right-hand lane and end in A, the lane closest to the curb, B, the left lane, or C, any lane that is available. Correct answer is A, the lane closest to the curb. When turning right onto a two-way street, always finish in the rightmost lane or the lane closest to the curb. 10% of students choose the wrong answer, B, the left lane, and my best guess is that they have trouble visualizing the situation. For questions like this, it helps to picture the situation being described like this. If you're the white car here in this situation and you want to turn right, it seems pretty obvious that you want to end up in the lane closest to the curb. If you have trouble remembering that, then just take a page out of the classic book Cheat Sheet Two-Way Street from Dr. Driving Seuss. When you go right, finish in the lane closest to the curb. When you go left, finish in any open lane you observe. Question number 16, you may turn right on a solid red light, A, only after stopping and yielding to pedestrians and bicyclists, unless otherwise posted, B, only after slowing down and checking traffic, or C, under no circumstances. The correct answer is A, only after stopping and yielding to pedestrians and bicyclists, unless otherwise posted. Yes, you can definitely turn right on red if there is no sign prohibiting it, and you stop first to check for pedestrians and traffic. However, 2 out of every 5 students are missing this one by choosing C, under no circumstances. This is a common misconception because many new drivers find it weird that you can go on a red light, but it is legal if there's not a no right on red sign and the coast is clear after you stop first and check for obstacles. With that said, there is no law saying that you have to make a right at a red light, even if it's safe. So if you feel more comfortable waiting or aren't sure if it's safe to go, then take your time and wait for the light to turn green. Better safe than sorry, even if a few people behind you might get a little bit impatient. Harder question number 15. It is illegal for a person under 21 years of age to drive with a blood alcohol concentration, or BAC, that is blank or more. A, 0.01%, B, 0.08%, or C, 0.05%. The correct answer is A, 0.01%. The key to this question is focusing on a person under 21 years. There is a 0 tolerance for alcohol use if you are under 21. And if you drive even with a little bit of alcohol in your system when you're under the legal drinking age, you may lose your license, have your driving privilege suspended, be turned over to the juvenile authorities, or have your parents contacted. However, 1 out of every 4 students are mistakenly choosing B, 0.08%, but a BAC of 0.08% is the limit for legal age drinkers, not those under 21. Just think of it like this. Under 21, a BAC of 0.01, and you're done. Done driving for a while at least. Next question, number 14. You want to back out of a parking space. You should always back slowly and look A, over your right and left shoulders as you back up, B, at your rear view mirror as you back up, or C, at your side mirrors as you back up. The correct answer is A, over your right and left shoulders as you back up. As we always teach our students here at Drivers That Direct, you want to have your head on a swivel as you back up your car. While quick glances at your mirrors and backup cameras can assist when you back up, looking over your shoulders should be the primary traffic check you do while reversing. In fact, if you only use your mirrors and your backup camera while reversing on your drive test, you will receive an auto fail. So look over your shoulders while backing up, and keep in mind that backing your vehicle is one of the most dangerous maneuvers you can do. So back up as little as you need to in order to get the job done. Next question, getting unluckier, number 13. You have had your license for 3 months. You may A, drive between 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. unaccompanied, B, transport minors unaccompanied at any time, or C, transport minors between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. unaccompanied. Correct answer is A, drive between 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. unaccompanied. This historically tough question is only getting harder for folks, as hundreds more are getting it wrong this past year. This question is one that will only show up for new drivers earning their first provisional license, not for those renewing their license. Too many students answer C, transport minors between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. unaccompanied, which would mean that you can A, transport minors, and B, drive late at night during the first 3 months of having a provisional license. Well, both of those things are illegal. So not only is answer C false, it's like really, really false. Don't forget, during the first 12 months holding a provisional license, you cannot transport minors by yourself, and you cannot drive between 11 at night and 5 in the morning. What you can do with a provisional license is drive by yourself after 5 in the morning all the way up until 11 at night. So answer A, drive between 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. unaccompanied, is correct because it falls within that legal time period. Now you know. Question number 12 on our list. If you approach a curve or the top of a hill and you do not have a clear view of the road ahead, you should A, slow down so you can stop if necessary, B, pull over and wait for conditions to improve, or C, use your high beam lights to be more visible. The correct answer is A, slow down so you can stop if necessary. Anytime your view is blocked by a hill or a curve, you should assume that there is an obstacle or another vehicle stopped ahead. You never know what's on the other side of a steep hill or a sharp curve. When you do come to a hill or a curve, make sure that you slow down so you can stop for any hazard. You must be going slowly enough to stop if it does become necessary. A large percentage of students have erroneously been choosing B, pull over and wait for conditions to improve. My hunch is that they incorrectly assume that when the question says you do not have a clear view of the road ahead, they imagine this means they don't have a clear view due to poor weather or something like that. If there was bad weather like fog or snow to the point where you can't see clearly, then this answer would be true and you would indeed pull over to wait for conditions to improve. But this particular question is specifically asking about approaching a curve or the top of a hill and has nothing to do with poor weather. So make sure that you read the question carefully and answer A, slow down so you can stop if necessary, if they're asking about curves or hills. Cool? Cool. On to question number 11. It is illegal to leave a child 6 years of age or younger unattended in a motor vehicle, A, when the keys are in the ignition, B, if the child is with a 12-year-old brother or sister, or C, on a cold, rainy day and all the windows are closed. The correct answer is A, when the keys are in the ignition. A little over 20 years ago, Caitlin's Law was passed, named for 6-month-old Caitlin Russell, who suffered a heat-related death after being left by a babysitter in a parked car for more than 2 hours. Since this tragedy, California Vehicle Code makes it illegal for a child 6 years of age or younger to be left unattended in a motor vehicle without the supervision of someone who is 12 years or older when there are conditions that present a significant risk to the child's health or safety, like extreme heat, and when the vehicle's engine is running and or the vehicle's key is in the ignition. Therefore, answer A, when the keys are in the ignition, is the correct choice because it is illegal, not to mention dangerous. With that said, many students mistakenly pick answer B if the child is with a 12-year-old brother or sister. But as we just discussed, parents can leave their 6-year-old in the car as long as they are being supervised by someone 12 years of age or older. Alrighty, we've made it to the halfway point. Not too bad, right? As you've seen so far, these questions haven't been too crazy, but maybe there have been a couple that have caught you off guard. If not, then props to you. You're well on your way to DMV test domination. But don't get too overconfident. We still have the top 10 ahead of us, where you will undoubtedly find a few humdingers that will be sure to flabbergast you, or at least leave you mildly well informed. Trending harder question number 10. If you are a minor and your cell phone rings while you're driving, you should A, answer it if you have a hands-free device, B, answer it if the call is from your parents, or C, let the call go to voicemail? The correct answer is C, let the call go to voicemail. If you are a minor, that is, you are younger than 18, it is against the law to answer your cell phone while driving, even if it is hands-free. And yes, adults can use a hands-free cell phone to answer a call while driving, but minors cannot. And if your cell phone rings, you have to let the call go to voicemail. When it is safe and legal, you can drive to the side of the road and park to use your phone. Unfortunately, many more students these days are answering the very dangerous and very wrong answer, A, answer it if you have a hands-free device. Not only is this illegal for minors, but it's also dangerous because minors are statistically the most collision-prone drivers on the road, which makes sense because they are truly driving rookies, still learning how to become seasoned defensive drivers. But don't worry, you'll get there once you get a few thousand miles under your belt. Until then, my young driving friends, please, for me, for your loved ones, and other innocent drivers on the road, please, 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 did I say please? Leave the cell phones alone while you drive. The only time, and I mean the only time, a minor can use their phone while driving is to make a call for emergency assistance, like calling 911. Outside of that, no phones while driving, period. From the bottom of my driving instructor heart, I thank you. Next question, number 9. Safely backing your vehicle includes all of the following except A, looking over your right shoulder as you back up, B, checking behind your vehicle before you get in, or C, tapping your horn before you back up. Correct answer is C, tapping your horn before you back up. This question can cause students trouble because they often miss the keyword except in the question. That means you need to select the choice that is the bad answer, but many students rush through and select one of the good answers instead. So let's break down this question because it is important to understand the concept. So first of all, backing up is always dangerous because it is hard to see behind your vehicle. Before you back up, always check behind the car before even getting into the car, especially for children. Can you believe that thousands, yes, thousands of kids are backed over every year, many literally dying in their own driveway? It's so sad, but it's entirely preventable if we just remember to check around our vehicles before getting into them. Also important while backing up, glancing in your mirrors and looking over both shoulders, keeping your head on a swivel. And you especially want to pay attention over your right shoulder, as it will generally give you the clearest view of the situation behind you. Now, as we mentioned in part 1 of this series, backup cameras, can also be very helpful, but never rely on them solely. They don't give you the full picture of traffic all around you. In fact, if you only use your camera when you back up on your DMV test, you will instantly fail. Not to mention, what will you do in the real world if your camera stops working? So make sure you select C because safely backing your vehicle does not usually include tapping your horn before you back up. The DMV only wants you to use your horn when you absolutely need it, like to help avoid an accident. And while you may technically use your horn when backing if needed to prevent a collision, it shouldn't be a part of your daily backing up routine. Using your horn any old time that you want can confuse other drivers and pedestrians by startling them and creating dangerous situations unnecessarily. Question number 8. The question is, you are driving at night on a dimly lit street and using high beams. You should dim your lights when you are within 500 feet of A, an oncoming vehicle, B, a vehicle approaching you from behind, or C, a sharp curve or hill. Correct answer is A, an oncoming vehicle. If you are using your high beams or brights when driving on a poorly lit country road or in a dark residential neighborhood, then you must turn off your high beams when you encounter another oncoming vehicle within 500 feet. If you don't, you'll essentially be blinding the other driver with extreme bright lights, and why would you ever want to blind someone who is approaching you head on at a high rate of speed? So for this question, if you simply read the 2 wrong answers, you'll quickly see that they make no sense. About 5% of students incorrectly choose C, a sharp curve or hill. But if you think about that, why would you need to dim your bright lights in that situation? When you approach a sharp curve or hill, your bright lights won't be shining directly into anyone's eyes at all. So that wrong answer is a no-brainer. Amazingly, many more people have been choosing the incorrect answer B, a vehicle approaching you from behind. But when you think about that wrong answer, it's even more ridiculous. Why on earth would you turn off your high beams when someone is approaching you from behind? As my grandmother used to say,
that's just plain silly talk, Elizabeth.
The confusion with this question probably comes from the fact that there's a very similar DMV concept about dimming your high beams when you are approaching another vehicle from behind. And in that situation, when you're behind another car and not approaching them head on, then you have to dim your headlights at 300 feet, not 500 feet. Okay, I know all these seemingly arbitrary numbers are confusing at best. And when numbers start to scramble my brain, I turn to good old-fashioned rhymes to help keep things straight. So red tail lights from behind are easy to see. Dim those high beams at 100 times 3. For oncoming cars, don't shine in their eyes. Dim those high beams at 100 times 5. I know it's a little janky, but that's the best that I could do. So please let me know in the comments if you've got something better, because I am all ears. Anyways, this question happens to be super easy to remember for those of you who are already familiar with the mythical 5-headed, 3-tailed dragon of bright lights, Hydra Beam. Yeah, you can just associate the dragon's 5 heads with 500 feet of oncoming headlights, and its 3 tails with 300 feet when approaching taillights from behind. How simple is that? Trending harder question number 7. If a driver is going to pull out in front of you, the safest thing to do is A, honk your horn and maintain your speed, B, use your horn and swerve into the next lane, or C, slow or stop your car and use your horn. The correct answer is C, slow or stop your car and use your horn. All that is required to answer this question correctly is some very simple defensive driving decision making. If someone is about to pull out in front of you or cut you off, the safe and correct thing to do is to slow down or stop if needed and honk your horn to hopefully prevent a potential collision. Instead, more people than ever are answering the dangerous answer A, honk your horn and maintain your speed, which is unsafe and risky, even if you feel that you have the legal right-of-way. Whenever it helps to prevent an accident, yield to other vehicles at all costs. As our friends at trafficschool.com like to say, if you insist on your right-of-way, you may end up dead right. Question number 6. You are driving on a city street and see an emergency vehicle with flashing lights behind you. What should you do? A, drive to the right edge of the road and stop. B, stay in your lane, slow down and let it pass. Or C, drive to the right edge of the road and slow down. The correct answer is A, drive to the right edge of the road and stop. This is a good one for all drivers, but especially for new drivers who often get flustered or nervous when they see emergency vehicles racing down the road with their sirens blaring and their lights flashing. If possible, you always want to drive to the right edge of the road and stop until the emergency vehicle has passed. However, if you are already in an intersection when you see an emergency vehicle, just continue through the intersection and then drive to the right as soon as you can and stop there. Now, this past year, many more students are answering incorrectly with C, drive to the right edge of the road and slow down. Now, while this answer sounds reasonably tempting, it is wrong. You must pull to the right and come to a complete stop, not just slow down. Got it? Good. All right, we're down to the top 5 questions that test takers are answering wrong like never before, but you won't become one of these statistics, right? Nope, because you're taking the time and energy to prepare yourself so you can learn from the mistakes of others rather than making these same mistakes yourselves. And that, my friends, is why you are some of the smartest future drivers on all of YouTube. Moving forward with trending harder question number 5. Generally speaking, you are in a large truck's blind spot if you A, drive close to the large truck's left front wheel, B, cannot see the truck driver in the truck's side mirrors, or C, follow no closer than 10 feet behind the large truck. The correct answer is B, cannot see the truck driver in the truck's side mirrors. When passing a large truck, you will be in the truck driver's blind spot or no zone if you can't see the truck driver in the truck's side mirrors. So in other words, if you can't see them, they can't see you. And trust me, you don't want to drive in his no zone any longer than you have to. If a large truck changes lanes into you, needless to say, you'll come out of the situation a loser every time. And this is a fairly tough question that has traditionally troubled test takers, but it's been getting even tougher as of late, with more people answering wrong with A, drive close to the large truck's left front wheel, which is not true, because if you are next to the driver's left front wheel, you should be clear of the no zone and they should be able to see you without too much effort. Question number 4, when should you use your headlights? A, anytime you have trouble seeing others or being seen. B, 1 hour before sunset until 1 hour after sunrise. Or C, anytime you can't see at least 2 miles ahead. The correct answer for this one is A, anytime you have trouble seeing others or being seen.
Per California Vehicle Code 24400, a motor vehicle must be operated with lighted headlamps during darkness or inclement weather.
Well, thanks for that user-friendly description, California Vehicle Code. What the heck is inclement weather? Well, inclement weather technically occurs anytime you need to keep your windshield wipers on constantly, or whenever road conditions prevent you from clearly seeing a person or another car from a distance of 1,000 feet. For reference, 1,000 feet is about 2 to 3 blocks depending on where you live. So in other words, you must turn on your headlights whenever it's getting darker, or you drive in rain, fog, snow, dust storms, smoke, falling ash, or any other adverse condition I can't think of at the moment. And as the correct answer implies, your headlights aren't just there to help you see, they also make it easier for other drivers to see you. Just like an airplane in the night sky, their lights aren't to help them see, the lights help others see them. So why are 20% of exam takers getting this one wrong? Well, because students are increasingly slipping up and answering B, 1 hour before sunset until 1 hour after sunrise. And truthfully, this answer sounds pretty good because it sounds similar to the language used in another section of the California Vehicle Code, where darkness is partially defined as any time from 1/2 hour after sunset to 1/2 hour before sunrise. But if you read answer B closely, you'll notice that there are 2 details that are slightly off. The first clue, it's not an hour before or after, it's half an hour after or before. So just avoiding the 1 hour answer should help. The second clue is not as obvious, but hang in there with me as I try to explain it. The wrong answer B says 1 hour before sunset until 1 hour after sunrise. However, as we just mentioned, the vehicle code considers darkness 1/2 hour after sunset to 1/2 hour before sunrise. Now, if you visualize it like you see on the screen right here, it makes sense. Incorrect answer B would mean using your headlights while the sun was still fully visible in the sky, so that's a little suspect. However, it makes much more sense that you'd use your lights 1/2 hour after sunset to 1/2 hour before sunrise, when the sun is not quite visible in the sky. I mean, sure, it might be a little light out, but it's also a little dark too and harder to see. In other words, and less technically speaking, you normally use your lights from about dusk to dawn. All right, but let's get back to helping you pass the test. Just remember this little rhyme. Forgetting to use your headlights is trouble. It is ever so mean anytime you have trouble seeing others or trouble being seen. Yeah. Question number 3. When you enter traffic from a stop, for example, pulling away from the curb, you A, should drive slower than other traffic for 200 feet, B, should wait for the first vehicle to pass, then pull into the lane, or C, need a large enough gap to get up to the speed of traffic. The correct answer is C, need a large enough gap to get up to the speed of traffic. Whenever you pull into traffic from a full stop, like when leaving the curb or turning out of a driveway, you will need a large enough gap or opening in traffic that allows you to enter the roadway without impeding or slowing down other traffic. While the gap size you need will differ depending on the speed of traffic and road conditions, you generally need about half a block on city streets and at least a full block on higher speed highways. Also, don't forget to respect the road conditions when entering traffic. If it's wet or icy and the road is slippery, it may take you longer to accelerate to the speed of traffic. So you may need a bigger break in traffic before entering. Now, like I mentioned, this question has been stumping more students as of late, with a 36% increase of students choosing wrong answer A, should drive slower than other traffic for 200 feet. Now again, an answer like this might sound good because it sounds official with 200 feet, but don't be fooled. And of course you won't be, because now you have the right answer. Wait for a large enough gap to get up to the speed of traffic. Question number 2. If your driving record shows you failed to appear in court after receiving a traffic ticket, the DMV may A, suspend the registration of the vehicle you are driving, B, suspend your driving privilege until you appear in court, or C, restrict your driving privilege. The correct answer is B, suspend your driving privilege until you appear in court. If you get a traffic ticket and do not appear in court, the DMV will suspend your driving privilege until you appear in court. This one is particularly tough because both incorrect answers actually sound pretty plausible to anyone who has not memorized the California Vehicle Code. In fact, both wrong answers were chosen this past year more than ever before, with many people choosing answer C, restrict your driving privilege. The key to getting this question right is to use the cheat code embedded in the question itself. Notice how the phrase appear in court is in the question. Well, fortunately for us, the correct answer also includes the phrase appear in court. So just use that oh so clever clue and you'll be one of the wise ones who gets this question right every time. Yay. Okay, time for a deep breath. We have finally arrived at the topmost, most mind-bending, gut-wrenching, boot-shaking, nerve-wracking, anxiety-inducing, Pepto-Bismol demanding, progressively petrifying, increasingly incomprehensible, trending harder question in the galaxy, or at least at the DMV test. Are you scared yet? Okay, well, don't be, because this question is actually the easiest question in the history of driving school questions. Or should I say, it will be the easiest as soon as I tell you the answer. So, question number 1. When can you drive using only your parking lights? A, 30 minutes after sunset or 30 minutes before sunrise. B, under no circumstances. Or C, on foggy days when visibility is low. The correct answer is B, under no circumstances. Never drive with just your parking or fog lights. If you need to use lights while you drive, always use your headlights, either your low beam headlights or high beam headlights. Any other lights, like your parking and fog lights, can be used with your headlights to increase visibility or awareness, but never use only your parking lights or fog lights by themselves while you drive. Now, while both wrong answers get a lot of attention, far too many students have been choosing A, 30 minutes after sunset or 30 minutes before sunrise. I'm really surprised that people get this question wrong at all. But the truth is, 1 out of 4 people miss it. To me, it's so easy to remember because it's so logical. When should you use only your parking lights? When you are parked, which means don't rely on them alone when you are driving, under no circumstances. On a side note, many students have asked me how and when to turn on parking lights. So let's do a quick tutorial. First of all, your parking light switch is usually located where your headlight controls are, and the symbol for parking lights will either look like the letter P with 3 lines representing light beams, or like 2 small D-shaped light bulbs shining away from each other. That symbol makes sense because your parking lights are sometimes called side lights and shine to the side. In fact, many cars have 3 sets of parking lights: amber or orangish lights right next to your headlights, another separate set of orangish lights on the side of your front bumper, and the final set is located in the rear of your taillights, and those rear ones are usually red in color, but they're not to be confused with your brake lights. So, when should you use parking lights? Usually, you will simply use your parking lights along with your normal headlights while you drive to make your car more visible from the sides. Many cars these days will automatically turn on your parking lights for you when you turn on your headlights. However, there are times when you will just use your parking lights all by themselves. It's worth noting that parking lights can stay on for a longer period of time without draining your car battery, and you should not hesitate to use them when sitting or hanging out in a parked car while it's dark out, thus giving you more visibility to others. People also use them in situations where they park their car along a narrow or poorly lit road so that other motorists can easily see them and not run into them. Anyhow, we kind of got off on a tangent there, but in addition to passing the test, I figure it's important for you to know how to use those dang parking lights too. So there you go. So there you have it. If you made it this far, I trust that your brain has officially grown like 2 to 3 sizes since we first started. All dorky jokes aside though, I'd like to commend you on watching this video and our other test prep videos. Knowing that you're serious about doing well on your DMV test, it just warms my little driving school heart, and it gives me renewed hope that tomorrow's roads will be filled with educated drivers like yourself. If you haven't already, make sure to take the additional step of reading the DMV handbook. This literary masterpiece, it just contains a lot of important information, and it covers every single topic that could possibly come up on your permit test. If you don't know where to find the handbook, no worries, just check the links down below. And before I go, one more humble request of you. If you found this video helpful and you have strength left in your clicking finger, please like and subscribe. If you're feeling really adventurous, please drop us a comment or ask us a question. We love reading what you have to say and learning about your own personal driving journey. So please don't be shy, share a little bit so that we may all continue to grow in driving knowledge together. Until next time, future driver's license holders, from Permit Quiz Liz and Drivers at Direct, keep staying safe out there.